Hey everyone! Today we will explain how to use the rules of derivatives. Let's start with the constant rule. First, we have f of x is equals to negative 5. Notice that the function is equal to a constant since negative 5 is a real number but doesn't have a variable x. The constant rule states that the derivative of any constant is always equal to 0. Reminder that the variable c is any real number. Therefore, when we differentiate negative 5, we will be having derivative of negative 5 is equal to 0. The f prime of x is equal to 0. So next one, we have constant multiple rule. So we have f of x is equal to 7x raised to 4. The constant multiple rule states that the derivative of a times the g of x, where the a is the coefficient and the g of x is the new function taken from f of x, is equal to a times the g prime of x. When we differentiate 7x raised to 4, we need to move the coefficient in the variable of a, which is positive 7, beside the derivative symbol. Then we can set x raised to 4 as our g of x. We will have 7 times derivative of x raised to 4. The derivative of x raised to 4 using the power rule is 4x cubed. Lastly, multiply the term. 7 times 4x cubed is equal to 28x cubed. So now, we have f prime of x is equal to 28x cubed as our final answer. Lastly, the power rule. We have f of x is equal to 2x squared minus x plus 5. In power rule, we derive the function term by term. We use the formula n times ax raised to n minus 1 to derive each term. For the first term, we have 2x squared. We have to bring down the exponent 2 and subtract 1 to the exponent, so now we have 4x raised to 1 or 4x. For the second term, we have negative x. We have to bring down the exponent 1 and subtract 1 to the exponent, and now we have x raised to 0 or negative 1. For the third term, we have 5. 5 is a constant, so differentiating it will result to 0. Finally, we will have 4x minus 1 plus 0 and 4x minus 1. The f prime of x is equal to 4x minus 1 as our final answer.
Hello guys! Ako si Cassy Billan at ngayon ay tuturo ko ang sum and difference rule. So, sa nakikita nyo ngayon, we have f of x is equals to h of x plus or minus g of x. So, para mahanap natin ang derivative of f of x, simply i-derive lang natin ng h of x plus or minus derivative ng g of x. Ganyan lang naman po kasimple yan. So, let's have an example. F of x is equals to 6x cubed plus 2x. Yan. So, sum rule muna ang gagawin natin. So, una, i-derive muna natin ng 6x cubed with power root. So, derivative of f of x equal to 6 times 3. Multiply natin sa variable which is x cubed. Pero yung minus into 1. So, ang magiging ito is 6 times 3 is equals to 18x cubed. I mean, squared. So, naging 18x squared siya. So, sa 2x naman, since wala rin naman siyang power, so, magiging 2. Yeah. Sorry. Magiging 2 lang siya. So, ang derivative natin, derivative of f of x, ay magiging 18x squared plus 2. Yan yung final answer natin. Now, in terms naman sa difference rule, since parehas naman siya sa sum rule, gagamitin natin minus 2. Yan. So, parehas sa way lang naman siya. So, yan nga. 6 times 3 times variable x 2 minus 1. Yan. So, derivative of f is equals to 18x squared minus 2. Ganun na siya. Okay, so sa product rule na tayo. So, the product rule goes like this. The derivative of h of x times g of x is equal to the derivative of h of x times g of x plus h of x times the derivative of g of x. Siyempre, magbibigay tayo ng example. Yan. F of x is equals to x squared multiplied by the natural log of x. So, siyempre, i-lista muna natin ang value ni h of x and value ni g of x. Pero dito rin tapos kasi hanapin pa natin derivatives nila. So, ang derivative ng h of x, kasi ang h of x ay x squared ay magiging 2x. Habang sa g of x naman, derivative ng g of x ay magiging 1 over x. Yan. So, syempre, satin natin. F, derivative of f of x ay 2x multiplied by the natural log of x plus x squared multiplied by 1 over x. Pero di pa siya tapos kasi simplify muna natin to. So, x squared times 1 over x magiging x squared over x. Pag sinimplify, simply magiging x na lang siya. So, talaga, ang final answer natin is 2x multiplied by natural log of x plus, ayan po ang final answer natin.
For the quotient rule, we will be having sin x over cosine x. Sin x over cosine x. Since we are using the quotient rule, we will be using the formula f prime of x equals g prime of x times h of x minus g of x times h prime of x all over h of x squared. Now, which one is the g of x and which one is the h of x? we can equate sine x equals g of x and cosine x equals h of x, where g of x is the numerator and h of x is the denominator. We're going to list things down. G of x equals sine x. H of x equals cosine x. The derivative of sine x is cosine x, and the derivative of cosine x is negative sine x. Let us plug in the values. G prime of x times h of x, or cosine x times cosine x, minus g of x times h prime of x, or sine x times negative sine x, all over h of x squared, or also cosine squared x. Cosine x times cosine x is equal to cosine squared x, and positive sine x times negative sine x is negative sine squared x. Notice how we have cosine squared x minus negative sine squared x. Here, since negative times negative will become positive, then we can write it as cosine squared x plus sine squared x, all over cosine squared x. Pythagorean theorem states that cosine squared x plus sine squared x must be equal to 1. Therefore, the numerator will become 1. For the result, 1 over cosine squared x must be equal to secant squared x. Therefore, the derivative of sine x over cosine x is secant squared x. Lastly, for the chain rule, we will be having e raised to the cosine of 5x. For e raised to cosine 5x, the thing that we need to know is that the derivative of e raised to a term, let us say it is raised to u, must be equal to e raised to u times the u prime. Now we have u is equal to cosine 5x. The derivative of cosine 5x must be negative sine 5x times the inner function, which is 5x. The derivative of 5x is simply 5. So therefore, to simplify, the derivative of u must be equal to negative sine 5x times 5, or negative 5 sine 5x. Now we have the u and the u prime value. Going back to the equation, we must have e raised to u times the u prime. For the final answer, just copy the original equation. E raised to cosine 5x times the u prime, which is negative 5 sine 5x. Therefore, the final answer is e raised to cosine 5x times negative 5 sine 5x.
In conclusion, power rule holds the constant rule, constant multiple rule, and sum or difference rule, since these three rules are combination of solving derivatives in an easier way, where constant rule is a rule to cancel out constants immediately, constant multiple rule allows us to multiply coefficients and terms, and sum or difference rule tells us that we should care less of the signs because we are just going to copy them. Product rule and quotient rule, on the other hand, are somehow another set of rules, another set of formulas, and they have their own worlds, and they function differently. They just really don't care about the power rule at all. But chain rule is the one who might be holding all of the other rules. Chain rule sometimes uses power rule for functions that is raised to a power. And chain rule can sometimes have multiplication and division on its hands, and it is very essential to solve for harder derivatives. Again, these are the general derivative rules. We have the constant rule, constant multiple rule, sum and difference rule, product rule, quotient rule, and chain rule. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.